Did you know that as we age, our bodies don't function as well as they did when we were younger? And this doesn't just affect our physical health, it can also have a profound impact on our sex life. Here's a shocking fact that few people know: masturbation, a normal act, can become an important factor in maintaining mental and physical health as you enter adulthood. But why is it not talked about? Why do older men feel embarrassed when faced with changes in their bodies? And are these changes really a problem or just part of the natural aging process that we need to learn to accept? In this video, Dr. James, a men's health expert with over 30 years of experience, reveals the masturbation secrets that older men should know to protect their health, maintain their confidence and enjoy long-term sexual happiness. Things you've never heard from any doctor before, but could change the way you look at your sexual and mental health. Are you ready to discover these truths? Problem introduction. A 73-year-old man named John sat alone one evening, doing something he had done thousands of times before: masturbating. For John, this was a habit that had been maintained for many years, something that helped him feel relaxed and sometimes a little joy in his lonely life. However, this time, things did not end as usual. Not only did he lose control of his body, but he also felt like he had lost a part of himself that he could not get back. This was not a normal incident, but a shock, leaving John feeling hopeless and worried about his health. And the scariest thing was that he had no idea that it was the way he was doing it, the things he did not understand about his body, that were really causing this condition. Dr. James, a men's health expert with over 30 years of experience, has witnessed many similar situations throughout his career. Not only is he a doctor, but he has also witnessed the physical and psychological changes that men experience as they age. During a recent appointment, Dr. James shared John's story along with many other patients he has seen. He described the emotions that many older men face when they begin to notice changes in their bodies, especially when it comes to sex. Questions like, "Am I still normal?" and "What am I doing wrong?" come to mind when many men experience unexplainable changes. Dr. James explained that the problem is not masturbation, but the way older men engage in it without understanding the changes in their bodies. As they age, their bodies and sexual functions no longer function the way they did when they were younger. Things we do naturally throughout our lives, like masturbation, can have a different, negative impact on our health if not properly regulated. And this is why Dr. James decided to share important information that very few people know, secrets that can change the way men view their bodies and their sexual health. Through John's story, Dr. James wants to convey an important message: no one tells older men that their bodies will change in a different way, that something may not be the same, but that does not mean they are no longer sexually capable or confident. Dr. James also realized that not only John but many men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s are suffering from silence about this issue. They dare not share with friends, family, or even doctors, because they are afraid of being embarrassed. It is this silence that leads to serious health problems, and that is why Dr. James wants to change the conversation, helping men better understand their bodies and the natural changes they face as they age. This video is a powerful call to arms, an invitation to listen and understand the inevitable changes in the body. But at the same time, it is also an opportunity to open up an open dialogue where no one feels ashamed or afraid to talk about sex in old age. Dr. James hopes that through John's story, every older man will realize that sexual health is not something to be buried, but an important part of maintaining physical and mental health. Video purpose. The goal of this video is to share 5 masturbation secrets that older men need to know to protect their health, maintain their confidence, and have long-term sexual happiness. As we age, our bodies don't function the way they did when we were younger. Changes in our bodies can sometimes make men feel insecure, especially when it comes to sexual health. Masturbation can be a normal habit throughout life, but as we age, the way we do it needs to be adjusted to protect our bodies and minds. This video not only helps older men better understand physiological changes, but also encourages them to see this action as an important part of maintaining their health, instead of feeling embarrassed or not understanding these changes. The secrets that Dr. James shares will help older men adjust their masturbation habits to suit their bodies, protect their health, and especially maintain their confidence in their sex lives. Along with that, the doctor will also clarify long-standing misconceptions about masturbation and help viewers realize that it is part of self-care and nothing to be afraid of. In particular, the open-ended question, "Have you ever felt your body change as you age?" will help viewers ask questions and become aware of the changes in their bodies, thereby encouraging them to participate in an open and positive conversation about sexual health in old age. By providing scientific and easy-to-understand secrets, this video not only provides useful knowledge but also creates a space for people to feel more comfortable and confident when facing changes in their bodies as they age. Secret 1: Erection is no longer the only important factor. John, a 72-year-old man, sat quietly in his room one evening. After many years of living alone, he had become accustomed to the changes in his body. However, that evening, as he performed the same actions as before, he noticed that his body no longer responded the way it did when he was younger. Feelings of anxiety and confusion began to rise within him. He felt as if a part of himself was slowly disappearing, and this made him wonder, will my sexual ability still be the same? Will I still be able to enjoy sexual pleasure like before? These questions kept swirling around in his head, making him feel confused and even ashamed. This sense of loss was not only physical but also psychological, because sexual ability has always been closely linked to a man's identity and self-confidence. Dr. James, a men's health expert with over 30 years of experience, found that John's feelings of anxiety and confusion are common among many older men. He explained that as we age, our bodies change and our sexual response is no longer the same as it was when we were younger. However, it is important to focus not on erections or the ability to maintain an erection, but on the connection and feeling present during each sexual act. This change does not mean that men cannot enjoy sex, but rather that they move to a different stage of sexual satisfaction. Dr. James tells the story of Bill, another patient he treated. Bill, a 75-year-old man, was frustrated by his inability to maintain an erection like he did when he was younger. However, after attending counseling sessions with Dr. James and learning to change his mindset about sex, Bill realized that sex is not just about getting an erection, but more importantly about spiritual connection and being present in the moment. Bill learned to enjoy intimacy and feelings of love, instead of focusing solely on achieving an erection as a standard of sexual success. Bill's story helps viewers understand that, as they age, changes in the body are inevitable, but that does not mean they cannot experience feelings of satisfaction and intimacy. Dr. James emphasizes that adjusting the mindset and understanding that sex in old age can be a different experience, but can still be satisfying and worthwhile, will help men feel more confident, as Bill did. These changes are not the end, but an opportunity to reconnect with yourself and your partner. From this, viewers can see that age is not a barrier to sexual satisfaction, but rather part of the Secret 2: Masturbation is not only sexual, but also emotional and neurological. Howard, a 77-year-old veteran, walked into Dr. James's office looking exhausted. He wasn't there to discuss sexual issues, but rather to deal with feelings of fatigue and emotional disconnection. Years of war and a lonely life after retirement had left Howard feeling disoriented. He felt lost in the modern world, unable to feel the joy or connection he once had. Although he no longer had any serious physical problems, Howard felt his mood was getting worse. He couldn't figure out why he felt this way, because everything in his life was normal. When Dr. James began asking him about his daily routine, Howard shared that he still masturbated, but he didn't think it had any effect beyond immediate relief. Dr. James listened and then explained that for many older men like Howard, masturbation is not just a sexual act, but can also be a psychological support tool. In fact, masturbation can help relieve stress and anxiety, bringing relaxation to both the body and mind. For Howard, masturbation became a way for him to cope with the loneliness and stress from the war memories that he could never forget. Not only did masturbation provide him with physical satisfaction, it also created a sense of calm and relief, acting as a self-soothing method to relieve stress. Dr. James pointed out that when people feel anxious, stressed, or disconnected, such actions not only help relieve negative feelings but also help restore a sense of control and peace. Dr. James went on to explain that using masturbation as a tool to help relax and improve mood is normal and nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, in many cases, when older men feel emotionally disconnected, maintaining certain healthy habits, such as masturbation, can play an important role in protecting their mental and physical health. Stories like Howard's help viewers realize that masturbation is not only a sexual release, but can also be an important part of maintaining mental health. It is important to understand how the body and mind need to be cared for as we age, and masturbation, when done consciously, can be a powerful mental support tool. This can change the way viewers view masturbation, helping them understand that it is not just a physical act, but also part of maintaining emotional balance and mental health as we age. Secret 3: The use it or lose it rule is real but misunderstood. Roy, a 74-year-old man, had been sexually inactive for over 10 years, ever since his wife passed away. During that time, Roy had lived alone, not sought a relationship, and had given up all hope of a sexual life. However, when he met a new woman and they began to develop a relationship, Roy was excited and hopeful that he would be able to experience feelings of love and intimacy again. But when the time came, his body did not respond as before. He felt frustrated and feared that he had lost his sexual ability forever. Feelings of hopelessness and fear rose within him, and Roy began to worry that his body was no longer able to meet basic sexual needs, and that age had taken all that was left of him. Dr. James, who had been monitoring Roy's condition, explained that the decline in sexual desire that Roy was experiencing was not unusual. In fact, this decline is the result of not using the body for a long time. When a man does not maintain sexual activity for a long time, the organs related to sexual function, including blood vessels and soft tissues, will begin to weaken and reduce their ability to respond. Similar to not using a certain muscle for a long time, the sexual organs will be forgotten and no longer respond as well as before. However, Dr. James also emphasized that this does not mean that the body cannot recover. Maintaining sexual activity, even without a partner, is very important to keep the body healthy. In fact, when the body continues to be stimulated, it will activate blood flow and physiological functions, helping to maintain the health of the sexual organs and slow down the aging process. Dr. James further explained that one of the reasons many older men feel insecure about sex is because they lack an understanding of how their physiology changes over time. It's not that their bodies can't handle it, it's that they've neglected to maintain sexual activity for a long time. He encouraged Roy, and all older men, not to let feelings of despair and anxiety get the better of them. Secret 4: Porn may be destroying your sexual reflexes without you knowing it. Ernest, a 68-year-old man, has been facing deep loneliness since his wife passed away. After years of living together, he felt lost and unable to find joy in life. One day, when the loneliness became unbearable, Ernest turned to pornography as a way to find satisfaction. At first, pornography gave him a pleasant feeling, a way to soothe his mind and reduce loneliness. He thought that this would help him forget his sadness and fill the void in his heart. However, over time, Ernest realized that, although he still turned to pornography as a habit, when he met a new woman and sought real sexual intimacy, his body did not respond as before. He did not feel anything when he was with another person, although before, he had normal reactions when watching pornography. Ernest felt confused and frustrated, not understanding why his body did not respond as before. This feeling made him even more worried about his sexual ability and wondered if he had lost the ability to feel real sex. Dr. James explained to Ernest that this change was not due to age or health problems, but was the result of the brain becoming dependent on excessive stimulation from watching porn. When people use porn regularly, especially at an older age, the brain will begin to be affected by the strong and continuous stimulation that porn brings. The images and sounds in porn create a large amount of dopamine, a chemical that stimulates pleasure in the brain, which makes the brain easily dependent on this feeling. Initially, when strongly stimulated, the feeling of satisfaction is easily achieved, but after a while, the the brain will gradually adapt to this high level of stimulation and demand more. This leads to arousal fatigue, where the brain no longer responds strongly to natural stimuli from real life, such as intimacy with a real partner. That's why Ernest no longer feels anything when he's with his new woman. His body and brain have become numbed to the lack of intense stimulation that porn provides. Dr. James warns that porn addiction can cause a change in the ability to feel and be naturally aroused sexually, which can lead to a loss of the ability to truly enjoy interacting with a partner. This not only affects sexual performance, but can also lead to distance in relationships, where people no longer feel a real connection with their Secret 5. Masturbation can be a lifesaver for your sexual health. Dr. James shares the story of Walter, a 72-year-old man who had not taken care of himself for 6 years after his wife passed away. After losing his partner, Walter fell into a state of loneliness and despair. He stopped paying attention to his health, stopped participating in physical activities, and did not maintain his sexual health. Years of silence and loneliness had taken a toll on his mental health. Walter no longer felt confident, and his health gradually deteriorated. The lingering sense of loss and loneliness had a profound impact on his mood and physical health. However, after consulting with Dr. James, Walter began to change his habits. The doctor advised him that starting to take care of himself again would not only help him maintain his physical health, but also improve his mood and help him reconnect with himself. Walter began to participate in gentle physical activities and focus on his sexual health. An important part of this change was that he started masturbating consciously and regularly. Dr. James explained that masturbation is not only a sexual activity, but also helps maintain physical health, especially in old age. It helps improve blood circulation, maintain the flexibility of body tissues, and more importantly, relieve stress and anxiety. For Walter, masturbation became a way for him to cope with feelings of loneliness and reduce stress in his life. This change not only improved his physical health but also brought a sense of joy and relaxation, helping Walter feel more confident and healthy. Dr. James' advice is a strong and positive message. Masturbation not only helps maintain physical health, but also improves mood, reduces stress and keeps the body healthy in the long term. This is not only for Walter but for all older men, encouraging them not to feel ashamed of taking care of themselves. In fact, masturbation is an important part of maintaining emotional and physical balance, especially as people age. Practicing it consciously can improve health, improve mood, and bring mental comfort. Walter's story is not only a reminder to take care of sexual health, but also an encouraging message for everyone, especially older men, that they deserve to take care of themselves and find joy in life, not only through external relationships but also through connecting with themselves. Real-life situations and expert advice. Dr. James advised viewers that it is important to understand their bodies, especially as they age. He emphasized that physiological changes are natural and nothing to be ashamed of or worried about. Every change, whether physical or emotional, is part of the aging process that everyone goes through. It is important that we accept these changes and learn to live in harmony with them. Instead of feeling scared or frustrated, see it as an opportunity to learn and take better care of ourselves, so that our bodies remain healthy and our minds remain happy and joyful. Dr. James told the story of one of his patients who learned to love himself again after many years of loneliness. He did not mention the patient's name, but only described the big change in this man's life. Initially, this man felt that he could no longer feel or enjoy life as before. After his wife passed away, he felt he had lost the motivation to continue taking care of himself. He gave up on maintaining healthy habits, neglected his sexual health, and gradually lost confidence. However, after consulting with Dr. James and getting some advice, he decided to start making changes. Dr. James explained that taking care of his body, including masturbating consciously and regularly, not only helped him maintain his sexual health, but also helped him reconnect with himself. As well as doing light exercise and eating healthy, he began to see a marked improvement in his physical and mental health. This patient's story is a great example of how to accept and love your body as you age. He no longer felt ashamed of his physical changes, but learned to live in harmony with them. Loving himself again helped him feel more confident and less alone. It's a powerful message for all older men, that understanding and caring for your body is not only about maintaining your health, but also about finding joy and confidence in life. Dr. James hopes that this story will inspire viewers to feel motivated and ready to make changes to live healthier and happier for the rest of their lives. Conclusion and final message. Dr. James ends his video with a powerful and inspiring message: masturbation isn't the problem. Silence is. He explains that, throughout life, everyone will experience natural physiological changes as they age, and masturbation is a normal act that helps maintain physical and mental health. However, the silence on this issue in society, especially for older men, has created a huge barrier. These men feel ashamed and self-conscious about the changes in their bodies, making them afraid to discuss or seek help. It is this silence that prevents them from understanding their bodies and leading to unnecessary anxiety and stress. Dr. James' words of encouragement are a strong invitation for everyone to change their mindset and bravely face physiological changes. Stop being silent, stop being ashamed, and accept your body as it changes, he said. Masturbation is a part of health, and it helps you feel alive and healthy, even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. Not only did these words reassure viewers, they also opened up a more open conversation about sexual health in old age, an issue that is often avoided in society. Dr. James asserts that accepting masturbation as a normal part of life can help men maintain their health, reduce stress, and improve their mental health. Masturbation is not just a sexual activity, but also a way to keep the body healthy, keeping muscles and the circulatory system working properly. It is important not to let shame or guilt dominate your thinking, but instead, see masturbation as a form of self-care, just like exercise or healthy eating. The changes in your body that come with age are not something to be ashamed of, they are a natural part of life, and taking care of your body properly is the only way to continue to live a healthy and fulfilling life. Dr. James's encouragement aims to inspire viewers to not only take care of their physical health, but also their mental health. Masturbation is not a problem, it is part of the journey of self-care. When we begin to view our bodies with respect and acceptance, we will find the strength to live confidently and happily, not just in our youth, but at any age.